How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Beyond the Arc, and it is 2 videos in a week. I said I'd be able to do it, and I've finally done it. I'm trying my hardest to get a bit of energy, and it is currently 20 to 9 in the morning where I am. The NBA happened last night. A load of games were played, and yeah, hopefully this is the start of a few more rambling daily roundups of some of the main stuff that happened in the NBA last night. And I think we got to start with the Lakers, and I feel like we start with the Lakers all the time. But before we get into it, make sure you're liking and subscribing to the YouTube. The Los Angeles Lakers lost yet again last night. I say yet again. They'd won 5 out of the last 6 beforehand, albeit against pretty easy opponents. They came up against the Indiana Pacers at home last night. They ended up blowing like a 17-point lead in the 4th quarter, and I mean, let's be honest, it's not even like the Lakers played too bad of a game. You know, they were pretty complete throughout the first 3 quarters, let's be honest. Anthony Davis was dropping alley-oop assists, as well as all the points that he was putting up. LeBron James was doing LeBron James stuff. Russell Westbrook was actually hitting shots in the clutch, which is a really weird sentence to say about Russell Westbrook this season. But ultimately, a 3-pointer from Andrew Nembhard was enough at the buzzer to send Indiana over the line. A 31st overall pick coming in this season. He's actually been quite good. Doing bits off the bench. For a second rounder, averaging 7 points, being a bucket from deep. It's all you can really ask for, really. And let's be honest, he is now in the headlines doing it at the Crypto.com arena, it's called now, or something like that. But at the Staples Center, essentially, against the Lakers. And it does demoralize the Lakers even further. Even though, yes, they have won now 5 out of the last 7. But let's be honest, when you're at home, you're up nearly 20 with like 9 minutes to go. You can't be losing to teams, let alone teams as... Well, I mean, we talked about how good Indiana were a few days ago, but they still haven't been... Well, they're not exactly 17-4 Boston Celtics, are they? So, let's be honest, they shouldn't be doing that. The Lakers, though, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's not been looking good all season for them. They may have turned a new leaf, but when you're playing San Antonio twice, Detroit, you're gonna win games, you know what I mean? But the thing is with the Lakers, once they come up against somewhat confident, somewhat competent teams, they lose. They lose. They crumble. They either get blown out or they blow leads. It's not good enough, really. And like I said last episode, Anthony Davis has probably the highest trade value you're ever gonna see. He's played 17 of the Lakers' 21 games, I think it is, this season. So he's only missed 4 games through injury, which for Anthony Davis isn't terrible. He's shooting the highest percentage from the field in his career. He has about 23 points per game, averaging almost 13 rebounds, only around about 3 assists, but he got 6 assists last night against the Pacers. Like, he is playing some of the best basketball since that finals run a few years back. If I was the Lakers, I'd be looking at exploring options to try and trade him away. People were saying to trade LeBron away as well. I don't think LeBron has that much value, obviously, because you're only going to be getting about 2 years of Bron. And let's be honest, it's probably going to be about like 1 and a bit, because if you can't get Bronny, then he's not coming, you know what I mean? So I think maybe trading away Bron ain't the biggest option for the Lakers. You're probably not going to get that much for him. I know it is LeBron James, but he is coming towards the end of his career still, even though he is still putting up mad numbers for 37 or however old he is. So if I'm honest with you, just get Anthony Davis out there. I said it the other day, I'm saying it again today. Anthony Davis needs to leave. The Pacers, though, big up the Pacers. We talked a bit about the Pacers the other day, and that just a bit of fighting spirit to come back and get a 10-point swing in the final quarter. Tyrese Halliburton with another double-digit assist game. He leads the league by far in assists. Benedict Mathurin with another 20-piece off the bench. This guy might actually end up being 6th man of the year as well as rookie of the year. Benedict Mathurin, he is a star in the making. And I'm going to be honest with you, yeah, I know he's playing 30 minutes a game, but why not start him? You know what I mean? Like, give him a go with the first, give him a go more against, you know, starters. See how he copes against them. I mean, it depends on what the Pacers want to do. Do they want to try and tank a little bit, or do they want to actually go for it? If it ain't broke, you don't fix it, is what some people would say. But I'd say give Mathurin chances at the start of the game. You know what I mean? They sit 4th in the East, which I don't think anyone was expected at the start of the season. I don't think I was. I think I predicted them to come last. So, yeah, I mean, they've won 12 games out of 20. Big up to them. Let's hope that they can carry it on, because I'm all for a bit of an underdog story, unless it means that the Bulls don't do bits. Speaking of the Bulls, and they face Utah, who are a plus 500 ball team, which means that the Bulls were going to win because they know how to beat the good teams, they just can't beat the bad teams. Even though the Jazz have been on a bit of a downward slope in form, this is what, like, something like 2-7 in the last 9 or something like that. The Utah Jazz still put out a pretty tough game. Larry Markkinen with a bit of a revenge game. I think everyone was expecting that to happen, but not at the level that it did. I mean, my guy shot 66% from the field, dropped in 32 points. This guy has to be an all-star this year, no matter where Utah are in the conference, in my opinion. As for the Bulls, though, big game from the Bulls. DeMar didn't have to actually score 40-odd to give the Bulls a win. Kobe White is actually proving that he is a good player. And I think that's been the annoyance about Kobe, is that when he is on it, he could provide you good points off the bench. It's just that only happens about 2-3 times a month. So let's hope that this is a start for Kobe White to establish himself more as a prominent 6th man on this team. I mean, I think I predicted about 2 seasons ago that he'd win 6th man of the year. He obviously hasn't progressed that far, has he? But let's hope that carries on. Zach LaVine actually did an alley-oop dunk, and it actually looked pretty athletic. Come on, his knee is getting better, I think. I hope. That might be biased, but it is what it is in the end. As for Utah, though, a slow decline now. They are in 9th in the West, 2-8 over their last 10 games. Golden State now have a better record than them, so I mean, if you'd have said about a month ago that Golden State would be above Utah, I don't think many people would have believed you. So I think Larry is doing his best to try and carry this team to wins. It's just Utah are finally showing that they aren't that good of a team overall, unfortunately for Larry. But yeah, if he can carry this going and average about 25 points this season, that's big for him. And you know, it might secure him a big move to a contending team, or it might end up being a thing that Utah build around. You know, Lowry and Wembanyama in the front court next year. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, Utah not doing great as they slip down the conference. Kristaps Porzingis averaged a career high in points with 41, which is a bit weird for me because I feel like he should have had more, like in his Knicks days. I feel like he's definitely hit more than 41 before in his career, but apparently this was a career high. It's definitely his high since moving to Dallas. And, you know, I'm all for the Kristaps Porzingis, revival tour, even though his numbers weren't terrible for the Dallas Mavericks. It just never really worked with him and Luka, but now he's on the Wizards, and now, if I'm honest with you, he's kind of like the main guy that they run their scoring through. Bradley Beal ain't the guy that they run the scoring through anymore. But equally, I feel like they're putting up equal numbers stats-wise. Bradley Beal's starting to facilitate a lot more now. I've realised this season, and that's helping Porzingis a little bit more. You know, he's actually the number 1 option pretty much for scoring, and that definitely helps his game, and it's definitely showing. 41 points on Rudy Gobert. That's big when you think about it. Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns in that Minnesota front court, and Porzingis still managed to drop 41 on them. It's just one of those games that it fuels the Gobert hate, really, doesn't it? I feel for Rudy. I like Rudy as a guy, as a decent player. I'm all for Rudy, Defensive Player of the Year. But when anyone drops 30 plus on him, they're always in the comment section being like, "Why is Rudy the Defensive Player of the Year? Is this your Defensive Player of the Year?" Yes, he is, in my opinion. But let's be honest, Porzingis, big up yourself. As for Minnesota, what's going wrong? 10th in the conference. I mean, I look at the conference now. Dallas are 11th, so there's a few shocks in this West. I think a lot of people were thinking that Minnesota were going to shock a few people this year, maybe try and sneak into that top 4. But it's not looking likely. Anthony Edwards isn't making that big jump, and this Karl Anthony Towns Rudy Gobert partnership, whilst only being 20 games into a season, you can't really properly make a heavy judgment on it. It's not really working. It's not really gelling that much. Sometimes it looks great, but other times it ain't looking too good. It's looking a little bit, unreliable. Karl Anthony Towns isn't adjusting to life as a 4 as well as maybe Minnesota fans were expecting, and it's not really working. And how long before you start to think, if we want to make the playoffs, we've got to maybe adjust a few things here? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do Minnesota change up a few things yet, or do they wait maybe another 20 games to see if it can finally click? As for Gobert, again, people are just going to hate on him because Porzingis dropped 41. But that is just a credit of Porzingis' shooting. He is a bit inconsistent with it. A center that shoots less than 50% isn't exactly, amazing. But when you look at the amount of shots he takes from outside the arc, it's fair enough. But when he's on it, he can drain them. And, it was just one of those nights for Porzingis. Big up to Porzingis. People rediscovering form, Jamal Murray finally hit his first 30-piece of the season, and you don't understand how happy that makes me. Yes, it was against the Houston Rockets, but I don't care, because Jamal Murray is back. He's back. And let's be honest, the Denver Nuggets are more dangerous with him firing. Nikola Jokic is one of the best facilitators in basketball. He's one of the best players in basketball. All he needs is those players to come around him, and then it'll start working. Denver move up to second in the West, and I said that they've finished first. They might end up doing it, especially given that the West has been a little bit weaker near the top. Quite a few teams dropping games. Phoenix again still top despite losing 6 games so far this season, compared to Boston being at the top and only losing 4 games at the top of the East. Sorry, and yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray, it's been a long road back, and I'm just all for the Jamal Murray redemption tour. This Jamal Murray in the playoffs in 2020, which was the last time that we saw him before this season, was one of the best point guards in basketball, scoring-wise. I mean, this guy dropped multiple 50 pieces, was facilitating left, right, and center. He looked like the best player on that Denver Nuggets roster, and that roster had Nikola Jokic in it. So I'm all for Jamal Murray coming back. As for Jokic, I feel like people aren't really discussing him for MVP as much. Is that because he ended up winning it back-to-back? I don't know. I think the back-to-back will never happen because of voter fatigue. He's down about 4 points per game, about 4 rebounds per game, but he's up in his assists. So big up to himself, and he's up in his field goal percentage, 60% from field. This is for a center that doesn't really shoot much in the paint as well. Like, he does stretch the floor quite a bit, so 60% is pretty big for him. And yeah, I think the main point is that he's averaging 1 more assist a game. Like, he's like 0.2 rebounds and 1.2 assists off of averaging a triple-double, which for a center is mad. I think it's just crazy that one of the best playmakers in basketball is a bleeding center. That's still crazy to me. But yeah, Denver on the up. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do for the rest of the season. Hopefully they can finish first, so I don't look like a Wally for predicting them to finish first. But yeah, Jokic carrying on doing his stuff. Jamal Murray, first 30-piece back in a Denver Nuggets uniform for the first time in over 2 years. Hopefully this is the start of an upwards trajectory for him. Not to do with any results per se. Last night, Kemba Walker talks about him going to Dallas. Again, I've said I'm all for the Porzingis revenge tour. I'm all for the Larry Markkinen revenge game. I'm all for Jamal Murray coming back. There is nothing I'm more excited about than seeing Kemba Walker back on an NBA court. It's been so weird so far this season not seeing him. It was so weird back end of last season not seeing him. This guy was the guy that Boston tried to mold their point guard around, their superstar point guard around, 2 years ago. 2 years ago! And now he's out of the league. Come on, man. Kemba Walker is one of the best ISO scorers in the NBA. We've seen him do it for years upon years upon years. He's what, like a 6-time All-Star? or something like that. I think like this Kemba Walker is unbelievable, and I know coming in to Dallas already have one of the best ISO scorers in the NBA in Luka Doncic. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. I'm pretty sure Kemba's probably going to be coming off the bench trying to lead the second unit, which I think is probably the best deal for him, if I'm honest with you. Just get him on a court. Literally just get him back in the NBA because he deserves to be. He needs to be in there. He can't be wallowing away in unemployment. So yeah, get Kemba Walker back on an NBA court. If he comes back to Dallas, I'm going to predict that he will average 12 points per game and around about 4 assists a game on 47% shooting from the field. I think it's a great addition. I mean, it's very much a case of low risk, high reward, kind of like John Wall was for the Clippers in the off season. In the case of you're going to be bringing him in on low money anyway, so you might as well just try him out, see what he can do for you. You know, if he averages double-digit points, then it's a success. If he contributes to you winning, it's a success. If he doesn't, then you're already not even in the play-in. So it's not like he's going to make your team worse, let's be honest with you. I think once you go below the Lakers record, that's where you decide that it's been a bad decision, you cut him. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, let's be honest with you. But Kemba Walker back on an NBA court is what I like to see. And that will round up today's NBA ramble. What do you guys think about the Lakers situation? About the comebacks of Jamal Murray, Kemba Walker, and in a sense, Kristaps Porzingis, despite his, despite him still putting up good numbers in Dallas, this is kind of his comeback. Do you think the Lakers should trade AD? Let me know in the comments below. And will Denver win the West? Who knows? But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and let me know if you want any more NBA like rambles coming on every single day that I can do, hopefully. But that will be the end of today's video. Like I said, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.